What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today it's time to talk about Slipstream. Because a couple of things happened in Wave 2 of the Transformers TCG Rise of the Combiners, which made a big difference to how good Slipstream can be. Now, we do need to remind ourselves at this stage that Slipstream is a convention exclusive card. It was only available in the convention packs that were given out, and this one might shock you, at conventions. Which means it is not an easy card to get hold of. It is not a cheap card to get hold of. Now, I did do a video about the convention exclusive cards, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it here. I will link that video in the description, so if you want to go and have a learn all about that, you can certainly do so. But why Slipstream gotten better? Well, I'm generally looking at the bot mode skill here. Because the bot mode skill says, when this attacks and you flip at least 3 different battle icons, this gets +3 attack until end of turn. Now, in terms of the alt mode, when one of your planes attacks, you move 1 damage counter from it to the defender. That ain't too bad. It's not too bad at all. And this is only an 8 cost, so it's not the most expensive character ever. And if you get this skill working, you end up with a 6 attack, 13 health, 8 cost character, which is really good. The average stats in Wave 1 were 4, 12, 2. And if you're rocking 6, 13, 1 as an average cost, that's pretty gosh darn nice. The problem was, well, there were 2 problems. Back in Wave 1, we only had 3 types of icons. We had orange that increased your attack, blue that increased your defense, and white, which let you flip an extra 2 battle cards when attacking or defending, but only the first time you flipped a white icon. So that was not ideal, because it meant you had to play a hybrid orange-blue deck if you wanted Slipstream to work, and for some people that was fine, and for other people they wanted to go a little bit more aggressive, or they wanted to get the 6 attack but go defensive. So you're sitting there going, look, attack of 6 is pretty good in and of itself, so let's just load up on blue and go defensive. Well, that wasn't an option. You had to go for a mixed deck. But now we've got green icons. Green icons, when this card is flipped during a battle, at the end of the battle, you may swap a card in your hand for a card in your scrap pile that you flipped during the battle that has a green icon. So now you can go blue or you can go orange, as long as you've got some white and some green. Incidentally, the wording on Slipstream was very much future-proofing. It said at least 3 different battle icons, and at the time there were only 3. We've got 4 now, and look, even if it's not next set, we are definitely going to get more battle icons in the future. I absolutely refuse to believe we won't. And while we're here, huge shout out to the designers of the game who have made the icons different shapes, because as a colorblind man, I really appreciate that. So we've got a 4th type of battle icon, which massively opens up our options for deck building. But there's another thing which has massively helped Slipstream. Because generally speaking, when you're attacking or defending, you're flipping 2 battle cards. And you can use bold to flip more when you're attacking and tough to flip more when you're defending, and that's lovely and cute and adorable. However, you kind of had to. Because back in Wave 1, there were 2 cards that were different color pips. We had Rollout, flip each your characters from bot mode to alt mode, which had an orange and a blue pip. And we had Matrix of Leadership, which also had an orange and a blue pip, but could only be put on Autobots, and was only really good for Autobot leaders, which you didn't want to put in a Slipstream deck. Because why would you want to put that in a Slipstream deck? It's a Decepticon. So even if you play the rest Autobots, you didn't really want to be playing one of these that couldn't be put on one of your characters. And Slipstream clearly does best in a planes deck most of the time. There are obviously exceptions. And there was 1 Autobot plane in Wave 1. And it wasn't the best of the planes. If anyone's wondering, incidentally, it was Jetfire. So that was a little bit annoying. You basically had Rollout. That was not ideal. Well, I've got good news, ladies and gentlemen, because double pips have taken off in a big way in Wave 2. By my calculations, there are 19 battle cards in Wave 2 that have 2 different coloured icons. I'm not counting energized or mounted missiles, because as fun as they are, they're not different colours, so it doesn't actually really help you, like, at all. Energized Field, incidentally, is not actually just called Energized. That would be weird. Now, to be fair, there are a couple that we can take off the table immediately, because they're not particularly relevant. So we can have a look at Noble's Blaster, which put on Autobots only, and it's good when you're attacking Decepticons. Probably not a great idea, if I'm honest with you. Similarly, Press the Advantage gives one of your Autobots +2 attack and an enemy Decepticon -2 defense. That one's not particularly ideal either. And look, as I said, you can play Slipstream with Autobots, but you're probably not going to want to most of the time. And here's the thing. It's not just that we've got green icons, although that really helps. And it's not just that we've got now 21 different cards with 2 different color pips rather than 2. Or if you take out the Autobot ones, you're essentially talking 18 rather than 1, which is pretty nice. It's the fact that we've got so many more options. So if we run through these extremely quickly, because we don't have a huge amount of time, Attack Drone's got a white and a green. When you put it on a character, you may play another Attack Drone. Put 3 in the weapon slot, end up with +1 attack. Backup Beam gives you bold 2 with a blue and a green icon. Bashing Shield's got an orange and a green and lets you scrap an enemy armor. And incidentally, we've then got Enforcement Batons of an orange and a green, which lets you scrap an enemy weapon. And if you like Backup Beam, do consider Sparring Gear, which has an orange and a green and gives you Tough 2. We've got Decepticon Crown with a white and a green, and when you attack, you plan 1. Pretty good given that you are a Decepticon. Escape Route has a white and a green and lets you flip a character from bot mode to alt mode. Extra flipping. Espionage has a white and a green and lets you scrap cards from your opponent's hand depending on which color you pick. Pick blue. If they've got a blue card or a card of a blue pip, you get to get rid of it. Focus Fire has an orange and a green, and for each one you play this turn, you get bold 1. You can play as many as you like. Inverted's got a white and a green, and when you are battling, attacking, or defending, you reverse the colors. Orange become blue, blue become orange. Master Plan's got a blue and a green and gives you bold 6, which incidentally is an awful lot of plan. Recon System has got an orange and a blue. Now I really like Recon System here, because when battling, you flip an extra battle card, but then you have to ignore one of them. So here, instead of flipping 2 battle cards, you flip 3, and then you get to choose the best 2 of them, and obviously you can try and just pick the 2 that give you 3 different color icons, or at least 3. It is a star card mind, so do remember that that will take 1 star away for each one you play from your character allotment. Scoundrel's Blaster is like Noble's Blaster, but you can actually play it. Blue and a green, +2 attack, put it on Decepticons, PS2 against Autobots. Nice. Scrouge has an orange and a green. Scrap the top card of your deck. If it's an upgrade, you may play it. Secret Dealings has a white and a green. You draw a card and then play 1. Smelt has a blue and a green, and your opponent scraps an upgrade of their choosing. So again, you can combine that with stuff like Bashing Shield and Enforcement Batons and really get some disruption in terms of getting rid of your opponent's upgrades. And Spare Parts has a white and a green, and if a weapon or armor from your side would be scrapped, you scrap this instead. So my point here is extremely simple. Slipstream back in Wave 1 just wasn't a particularly big deal. And the reason was, we only had 3 different types of icons. We only had 2 double icon cards that were different icons, and one of them wasn't really good in a plains deck, which is probably what you wanted to do. Now, we can look at this and go, well, hang on a second. We've got a whole bunch of cards, 21, which have 2 different color icons. And now, we can do stuff like, right, I want to go for an attacking deck. Hey, Backup Beam gives me bold. And Focus Fire can give me bold. An Attack Drone can increase my attack. So you can actually start getting a theme going on here where you can play an attacking deck and you've got a bunch of different cards you can use to that effect that all have double icons. Whether that screws up the rest of your deck, We need to find some partners and do some testing. But you no longer have to play blue or orange icons in order to get this rolling. You can go all blue, you can go all orange. I think one of the biggest changes to a Wave 1 character we've seen in Wave 2 is Slipstream. Because you really didn't have the support you needed back in Wave 1. And in Wave 2, I really think you do. We're going to do a couple other videos about characters which changed a lot from Wave 1 to Wave 2. Autobot Cosmos is another one that springs to mind we need to have a chat about. But I don't think any character has had its fortunes changed by the Wave 2 cards as much as Slipstream, so I thought this was a good place to start. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to hear from you. Do you think Slipstream can be good now? It was a fringe character when we had Wave 1. Do we think it's going to come back out, or do we think it's going to remain a fringe character? Do let me know in the comment section. And of course, please let me know which other characters from Wave 1 you'd like me to have a look at in light of Wave 2 cards. Go nuts! But please do remember the rule. Be nice, would you? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about games like Transformers and a bunch of others. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.